I'm just picturing the music in my head. Hello everybody and welcome to episode 21 of the Sugar Honey Iced Tea Brtcast. I'm joined with my co-host and yours, it's Jamie.
Bonjour, ça va?
A multicultural thing going on.
Ik ben weer Krakenwagen.
Yeah, that's
What about
so
me?
good.
What about Josh?
And
What about-
also,
No one
joined
ever
in front
remembers
of
Josh.
us, in the hot seat, in the control panel, mission control, we've got the one and only Josh. How are you doing today?
Hello, mate.
Are you good?
I'm good. I'm good, mate.
What have you been watching on television? Maybe Sky Drama or whatever they call it.
I've been watching. I might watch again and butcher the name now because those people pronounce it differently. But I think it's pronounced Chernobyl.
Schnubble.
Chernobyl.
Chernobyl.
I say Chernobyl.
I say Chernobyl.
I actually say
I say shish kebab.
that's my favourite. Yeah.
Shish kebab.
Do you know what? On a story of kebabs, I only had my first kebab the other week.
Your first
Ever.
kebab.
Yeah, I'd never
Ever?
had one. I didn't even buy it actually. I just someone ate half of it and they gave it to me.
So you got a free first kebab.
yeah,
As well.
it was chicken.
Oh, the best
But
kebab.
before that, I'd had like a week before or something. I'd had one bite of a lamb one, and it was disgusting. And it was the
Lamb
one.
doner.
Well, I don't know. It's the one where they shave it off that massive
Yeah,
boxing
lamb.
bag
Lamb
of
doner kebab.
meat.
Yeah.
Disgusting. Wouldn't recommend. It's like eating sort of
Sort of like eating something
Sort
you would
of
find in Chernobyl.
rubber. Yeah,
Yeah.
mutated.
Yeah.
Because it's just not. It's just compressed, grinded meat, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just all the meat you wouldn't have in a supermarket.
Yeah, like the
Mm.
arse.
Yeah. So Chernobyl then.
Yes. Sorry.
New HBO series.
What's that? Caitlin Millington is about to comment. I've not seen it. All right, explain. What is Chernobyl?
It,
Oh, we do love Caitlin.
Chernobyl was.
1986.
See, I was about to say spoiler alert, but it's a historical event, so people know what happened.
Yeah.
Chernobyl, 1986.
I think it's 1986. Rings a bell.
Ukraine, was it Ukraine?
Yeah, it's. I think it's. Yeah, it's Ukraine,
Yeah.
but at that point in time, it's part of the Soviet Union,
Yeah.
so it's technically.
Basically, a
Russia.
massive nuclear power plant. One of the generators blew up, caused a lot of issues for the
Yeah.
people who were living nearby, and a lot
Have you
of
seen it, Jamie?
people died.
Have you seen it yet?
I haven't seen the TV series.
You'll want
but
to see it after
I've
this.
watched
Yeah.
multiple documentaries, including like the feature film that was made on it.
So I'm pretty sure all of you, if you haven't seen the show, you probably know the events happened. I'm going to start off right now with how impressive this show is for something that not other films and shows be able to do. To me personally, now I love horror, love being
It
scared.
was very horror-like,
Yeah.
wasn't it?
I love horror. I absolutely love being scared, but I think I've become so numb to horror because of the amount of horror films that I've watched.
Yeah.
So I don't really ever get scared from stuff anymore.
Well, you've been desensitized to it.
Yeah.
I get like that too.
But not much scares me on TV and
'Cause you're
film
hard.
anymore.
Oh, you're hard.
Thank you. Not much scares me on TV and film anymore, but this terrified me.
Really.
This actually terrified. Like,
The
This
concept
terrifies
of
me.
it, because the thing I thought whilst watching it, we know whilst watching these documentaries and things about Chernobyl, that it's in the air and all the particles in the air are also contaminated. But the people there then,
They
they
didn't
didn't
know.
realise. So we know more than them at the time, and you're just watching it helplessly, being like, right, well,
You're
people,
dead.
you're dead.
Don't-
you know, it's
don't you
horrible.
feel awful for the firefighters?
Yeah.
Thinking it's just a normal fire,
Yeah.
and then they're all like, what else can you say? They're screwed.
Yeah,
They ain't coming back from that. They're dead.
And I know, and I mean, all of the sort of Soviet stuff is so old anyway. Like, do you see all like their old vehicles and fire trucks and
Yeah.
stuff? It all looked like it was like from the 1940s or 50s. So they're all like, they even say it in the show, like the Soviet Union. It's typical of them. They build stuff cheaply that works, and they won't update it or replace it, and
'Cause
stuff
it's
like that.
It's the the readers they use, isn't it?
The-
It only goes to a certain level.
Something meters.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
goes to
so
a certain
they-
level, and they're like, "Oh, look, it's not that bad. It's only that." And then they're like, "Yeah, but
Ronin or something.
you can't like your reader won't go higher than that. Like you can't say that's the level because it's going up to the highest your reader can go."
Yes, if people don't get that, basically, you see sometimes if you've seen videos of people exploring Chernobyl, or whatever, they get given this little yellow box with a meter on it, and it will go from 0 to I think 3.5. It was in the show at the time, and that's like the level of radiation. And so when this explosion went off in the reactor, they were checking the meters to see what level is it, and it said 3.5, but that is the highest it can go.
Yeah.
It won't go any higher than that. So they got the firefighters one. They got from the military fire brigade, which went up to probably 60 or something. I can't remember what it was, but it was a lot more, and that broke straight away. So they got another one, which is like another industrial one. That broke straight away again. And they're trying to tell this to the committee in charge of the whole event and the power station and stuff. They're like, this is so dangerous, what are you doing? And they're like, no, they were faulty. They must have both been faulty meters. It's like, what do you mean?
Yeah, are you stupid? That part of it they covered it was how the Soviets or USSR, whatever it was, tried to cover up what happened and said it wasn't our fault. They
the
would whole
say
thing
that.
It was just an accident in the factory, but it was down to a guy who wanted a promotion.
Yeah, and who was played by the guy from Friday Night Dinner.
Yeah,
and it took me a while to get into his character and be like, right, he's not the guy from Friday Night Dinner.
Yeah,
He's a Russian nuclear guy. But no, it's mental. Jamie's gonna love it.
Jamie will
You
love
have
it.
to watch
But
it.
basically, Jamie,
It's
and for
gripping.
anyone who hasn't watched the show, I'll explain to you now how it happened. What happened? This guy wanted a promotion. He had to the end of the day, was it, to do something? I can't remember.
Well,
what
they had
to
to complete a safety test.
Yeah,
To I think say that that power plant was officially done or
Yeah.
could be upgraded or something like that.
yeah. So he had to do that. He wanted the promotion. He wanted to get the job done. So he just basically rushed through it, didn't he? He didn't.
Yeah.
He didn't think about any health safety stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean,
And then he ended up blowing the thing up.
yeah, I know how Chernobyl happened.
Yeah,
because I've seen multiple documentaries, and
Yeah.
there was also as a 2-hour documentary I watched it before this TV show came out. So I know how it happened. I just haven't seen the TV show.
See, I didn't know much about Chernobyl before. The only stuff I knew was from Modern Warfare,
Oh, that mission
you
with the sniper. Yeah.
going through Gilly and the Mist and stuff.
From what I've seen, is someone put a photo of Chernobyl next to the next to the TV show and apparent how accurate it is.
Yeah,
Is that true? How
Yeah,
accurate
it is.
it's so
They're,
accurate.
they've,
I don't know how did they actually film stuff in Chernobyl?
Yeah, they've got photos and films from Chernobyl. That's what they use in documentaries.
Yeah, right.
They've actually got a video of the reactor just blown up.
Speaking of, have you seen any other Chernobyl films? Seen the
No, I
Chernobyl
saw
Diaries?
Exploring with Josh, who's
I've
a
seen
really
that
good
video.
YouTuber,
Yeah.
who did a series on
Oh, I
Chernobyl.
watch him.
But there's a film called Chernobyl Diaries, and
But no, I've not seen
it's
anything
sort of
other.
one of the things I want to address in this podcast is how I don't know what word I'm looking for is, but how almost disrespectful some people have been with Chernobyl. Chernobyl Diaries, obviously, when I first saw it, I was like, "Oh, this is great." So it's essentially a zombie movie about the people who were in Chernobyl and the radiation turned them into these mutant things that come and eat you.
Right.
But now, after actually seeing the HBO show, and then it sort of focuses on the people who are actually suffering, and
It's so sad.
it's then you're now a bit almost sort of right, well, people have gone and made a film where they've gone and taken these people who died in this
Yeah.
tragedy, completely desensitized the fact that it was a tragedy, and now made them these zombies that you're now rooting to die.
Yeah.
And then since the show's come out, and the show's been sort of a trend, hasn't it? It's been trending, the show.
Oh yeah. It's
People
like
have
the
been
highest
going
TV
into
show on IMDb.
yeah. People have been going into Chernobyl now and taking Instagram photos and stuff purely to be
Posing and stuff.
yeah, purely to be I've been here now. I have been where this show is set. Notice me, please.
It's
yeah.
a lot like, I know it's not on the same scale, but it's sort of a similar type of thing. So, where people go to
Concentration camps.
Auschwitz
Yeah.
and start taking selfies.
So I've seen that. I've been to one in Berlin. There was a little. It wasn't I've never been to a major one. But I went to a little one in Berlin, and there was people taking photos and stuff.
That wasn't the
all
one we
around
went to
it.
on that trip, was it?
No, because we didn't do a concentration camp that trip.
No,
did
it
we?
wasn't. But
I
it was
went-
that Jewish
no.
memorial.
Yeah, I've been to that one twice. I went with you guys, obviously, and then I went when I saw the concentration camp. And it is, you do get, like, unfortunately, any tragedy like that, you're going to get people who've be like, I can benefit from this.
Oh, I hate it. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like just before this podcast, we were talking about this whole thing in Sudan, and I've been seeing loads of fake donate to Sudan profiles, where people are just like, we're sending all this money to, charities and stuff, but they're clearly not.
Yeah.
They just keep
Do you know what I hate? I actually cannot stand is whenever there's a terror attack or an earthquake in another country on Facebook, be like so say if that obviously Jamie doesn't do it, but say if Jamie did it, it would come on my Facebook saying Jamie Norris has marked himself as safe during the Italian earthquake. It's like, well, I know that he's in England.
Or
Or
I didn't know they did that.
during the Ariana Grande terrorist thing, someone marked themselves safe as that, and it's like we live nowhere near. I'm not
think
going to
that
name drop,
got-
but we live nowhere near it.
The feeling got me really pissed off was like a major like celebrity said, "Oh, well, I was in Manchester 2 weeks ago. I'm safe," and it was like, she was like, "Oh, what about if this happened 2 weeks ago when I was there?" I was like,
It didn't. So
didn't,
move on.
and
It
fuck
didn't.
off.
Don't
Yeah.
stop trying to capitalise on
Also,
tragedy.
another thing. So the 2-year anniversary of the Ariana Grande tour, someone was selling fake tickets, and they made £20,000 of selling the fake tickets.
Just people are just evil, aren't they?
Yeah.
Anyway, back to Chernobyl. We're going off topic, but we're on topic here.
So what? People are
But-
going to Chernobyl now,
People are
taking
going to
photos.
taking photos, and they're like,
But are they going safely or not?
Well, they do official tours and stuff now, but you have to take sort of
if I
medication. I think because what the whole thing is, if you take iodine pills, sort of.
you can still get
If you're
fucked
less
pretty badly from
susceptible.
going there though.
Well, imagine if you're a tour guide, right? So you've got to go there like every day as your job. Bit weird.
I don't think you'd be able
Yeah.
to do that. I think that's not safe.
Yeah, probably. Strange. Yeah. Well, I think I would go, but I wouldn't do. You'd have to treat it in a very sensitive manner, because especially after watching that, you see, how the people died. It's so graphic. Their skin literally bubbles
Here we
and
go.
boils. It's disgusting.
So this guy is nowhere near. This is probably even worse than going there and using it for views. This post here, he isn't even there, and he's put a hashtag in it to get the hashtags. People are looking at the hashtag to
Really?
get- Yeah, he's not even there. If you scroll
Just
down,
because it's a trending hashtag.
right underneath it is hashtag London. So he's not even there. Like, do you know what I mean? People are using it now as a way to get Instagram followers, likes.
Yeah.
It's fucked.
It is weird. Would you go to Chernobyl though?
Before watching the show, I said I would love to go and see it. Since watching the show and seeing what radiation actually does to you, because the show educated me a lot on it. I had no idea how, but I knew it would kill you. Radiation. I didn't know it was
Yeah, but
that
it's not
slow and that
as
painful.
bad now, because they did a huge clean-up operation.
Yeah, but no.
But you just never know, because it's like it's a completely unseen.
It's like you know the
thing.
scene where the guy cuts his boot open.
Oh, that gave me chills.
Yeah, like the boot wasn't protecting him at the time, right?
No.
But nowadays, if you go in with gear like that and it protects you, if you cut that boot open, or if you've got a
Yeah,
sleeve
you
on
can
the
go
suit,
in and wear
if you
t-shirts.
cut,
and
can you?
stuff.
I thought you
Yeah.
had to wear stuff to go in.
No, well, as long as you're not going like you have to wear all that sort of stuff if you go into the reactor.
Yeah.
But if you're walking around
No, I don't think I've ever been to the
Pripyat,
reactor.
which is like the city and stuff like that, you just
Thing is,
wear
it's
normal
so
stuff.
strange because animals are still alive. Animals are fine.
well, they probably all die of cancer probably.
But they're living and breathing it, and they're going around the
Yeah,
road.
it probably shortens their life, or who knows what they're
Hmm.
experiencing. Like, you can't sort of see what they're experiencing mentally, these
Yeah.
animals, or if they're having pains or stuff. I don't know.
I don't know if this is
Not a
weird or
doctor.
not. The only place I'd want to go is the abandoned roller coaster.
Oh, they've got like a
Oh yeah.
Ferris wheel and a
That's-
theme
yeah.
park sort of bit. Yeah.
Then who was it? There's a traveller. I forget his name, but I watch his videos, but I'm not subscribed to him. But he met someone who was living in Chernobyl.
Yeah, there's a woman who lives there still.
She'd
And
said-
they took him for a tour or something.
There's a
around
woman who
town.
still lives there.
I don't know if she still lives there or
She's probably dead now.
yeah. She said
But she did live there.
I survived before the Nazis, the communists coming in and taking over, and I never moved. Then I survived the Nazis coming in and never
Yeah.
moved. And then the USSR, and then I've never moved.
Yeah.
So I'm not moving for something I can't see.
Fair enough.
Oh, here's it. So
What
his name's Banken Baldrup, Bald and Bankrupt, which is quite a funny name. And he's like inside the Belarus Chernobyl zone,
Right.
and I'm pretty sure it's this one. Is it this one? Yeah, he meets someone who still lives there.
That's crazy.
That's cool.
Because I'd be so scared because you just don't know, because you can't see anything going on. You don't know whether you're breathing in the stuff or not. That's the thing.
That's the thing as well. It's like in the show, it's like as soon as someone, I don't know, coughs, you're just sort of like, well, you're dead.
Yeah.
Like that's the end of it. And then like when they were all watching the fire, like because they actually all went to loads of people went to the roofs of the house and watched the fire in the background. It's like by standing on your roof, you have no idea.
The smoke and ash was getting in their lungs.
You have no idea, but you're actually just killing yourself.
Yeah, it's crazy. And the thing, you've not finished watching it, have
No,
you?
I haven't finished the show.
So at the end, which I was hoping they'd do, at the end of these things, they put up like what happened in real life, a few blank screens of like information. So I read through that, and it was like the next like 10 years or so, people from the surrounding countries, the cancer rate in children shot up.
Yeah, I know.
So hundreds of thousands of people started developing cancer just basically from the actions of one guy.
Yeah.
How bad is that?
Yeah.
It's one guy
And
going for a promotion.
I found out as well, so I look into it as well. He never actually, to the day he died, because he survived.
He got 10 years working in a labour camp.
To the day he died.
Spoiler.
Sorry. So, well, I looked into the guy anyway. To the day he died, he denied it being his fault.
Yeah.
He's just an arsehole. The guy is just a twat.
That's the guy.
How did he survive?
He got lucky. He wanted because there was 3 divers that went down, and
well, he didn't. That guy we're talking about, he was locked in the control room. Like he sent other people out. So he was like, right, you go check on the reactor. He didn't go and check on it himself. He stayed in this nicely insulated reactor control room. And then he went out to meet the committee and started sending people back. He's like, no, go and check on the reactor. I'm here. But he was really sick. You see him in the show just throwing up and collapsing and stuff.
But there was 3 divers that went down into the reactor because it was flooding.
Well,
wasn't it?
they weren't even divers. They're just scientists.
Yeah, there were scientists who had to go diving, and you'd think they're dead, wouldn't you? You'd think like they're sacrificing their lives because if the other 2 blew up, wasn't it all of Europe that would go?
Well,
all of Europe would get ruined by it because there was 2 more that didn't blow up, and they had to stop them. Yeah, and these 3 divers went down, and 2 of them survived. Which is mental. They went so close to it, and they've had 2 of them.
But then again, you've not come up to this part in the show, but they also have to get miners underneath, like Russian miners, to dig underneath to stop it seeping through into the water level.
Yeah.
Obviously, then further contaminating and leading to contamination of the other plants. And
so that's all the miners gone as well then.
So you see like hundreds of these miners working, and they knew that they were done for.
Well, they knew they're dead. If they go down, they die.
Basically, but they didn't tell them. But they were like, "It's got to be done." And loads of them apparently died from cancer and stuff like that, and just horrible radiation-related illnesses. And it turns out they didn't even need them in the end because the radiation never actually seeped through.
So loads of people just died for nothing.
Basically, and as well, another thing at the end when they say it's information, I'm pretty sure I might be wrong on the numbers, but to get a sort of picture of it, the USSR, the communist Russia, said the total official death count was about 20. I think 12 or 20.
It was actually hundreds.
It was hundreds. It was, if not thousands, of deaths.
Because
they won't admit it.
To be fair, you're the one that told me this, but you said Russia are making their own series because this series has pissed them off.
Yeah.
And they're making their series of how it actually happened, where we're going to see about 3 or 4 people die.
Probably, and you'll probably see it as like a massive accident, and then the Americans.
Yeah, the Americans sabotaged it. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, that's what they thought originally. They're like, was it a bomb? Was it the Americans?
Yeah.
Because this was in a Cold War.
Yeah,
Yeah.
isn't that a time when they were fighting over
It was-
different resources and stuff?
Yeah,
So
so
there's no actual. The only
'cause they-
fighting was in Vietnam.
they had to
That's
get-
not finished.
they had to get Germany involved, didn't they? And that must be embarrassing because you've just defeated Germany in the war. and
Well,
now
the
you're
thing
asking for
was,
help.
Germany at that point was still divided by the
Yeah,
Berlin Wall.
it was divided into four.
So it was east.
Was it
east
four?
and west?
Was it-
No, it's two sections.
I
So
thought-
you had Western Germany was with the
thought it was
Allies, so
kind of
us and America, and obviously Germany and France and everything. And then the other side was
Was
Russia.
Russia.
And that was when, in the Second World War, Russia and Britain and America met. They wanted to be the first ones to capture Berlin, but we met in the middle. And so they divided it off. And then that's where the Cold War began, where they're like, we can't actually shoot at you, but you're our enemy. Basically. And they're building nukes up either side,
Yeah.
and who knows what.
Scary time, wasn't it?
So
Yeah,
yeah, then
totally.
they have to get help from the enemy, basically.
What was it? This was Chernobyl was after Hiroshima and Nagasaki, wasn't it?
Yeah, Chernobyl was in 1986. Hiroshima was 1945.
Yeah. What was worse out of the two that got nuked? Was it Hiroshima?
Yeah.
Hiroshima was worse.
Probably, but
Yeah, it was Russia.
but I don't think it had nowhere near enough. That basically, compared to Hiroshima, the amount of devastation that Chernobyl could have caused
Yeah.
if they hadn't sorted it out was like 100 times worse.
Just one more point then, because we've gone slightly over.
There's so much to talk
time
about.
is,
It's so
yeah.
good. So if you haven't seen it,
Where can HBO go next? They've now potentially hit a gold mine of that people like films, series
Well,
based on
it's-
natural
I already know.
disaster stuff.
well, I don't know what they're doing, but I think I thought of this after I watched it, and something that would fit that same sort of style.
9/11.
Yes, well, 9/11, but I was thinking more recently the Grenfell thing,
Yeah.
because you can
Grenfell.
imagine lead up to the whole thing. You talk about how the builders and the contractors didn't want to take the real health and safety risks and stuff of the cladding or fire alarms or sprinkler systems on the inside. You see the people, everyday people, like poorer, working class people inside these buildings trying to go to day life. Then after one tiny incident, it all goes up.
How
and
many?
It all goes wrong.
How many died? in that?
I'm not sure.
It's-
I don't know. It was under 100.
Yeah, there
It's
wasn't. It wasn't like
I don't know what's
Chernobyl
that
scale.
actually.
It
No.
was still bad, but it wasn't like Chernobyl.
But-
Well, it was
but-
still bad, yeah.
Do you guys know?
But then there's a whole scandal afterwards of courts
Yeah.
and people
Because there was
homeless.
a picture of Theresa May laughing with the fire brigade, literally, and behind her there was a massive tower on fire. It's like you're
Yeah.
laughing. What
And
are
the
you
fire
doing?
brigade,
how she was crying about leaving.
yeah,
that thing.
about being not the prime minister anymore. There's also the whole thing afterwards. The fire brigade's basic protocol of high-rise building fires is to tell people to stay in their rooms and they'll come and get them and take them out, because obviously you can imagine if everyone pours out at once, there can be trouble.
Yeah.
But in this case, they've been planning for a fire building up, slowly building up, so they would have worked it out from there. They weren't imagining it to build around the outside of the tower,
Yeah.
jump floors, completely unpredictable. So basically, the fire brigade telling people to stay inside. They're getting
Do you know
killed.
how much the system would have cost to prevent the fire, or at least alarm the fire?
God.
It's something like £1,000.
So it's not even that expensive for the government.
No, it was. Yeah, it wasn't even that expensive.
But, anyway, we're about to hit 25 minutes. I think it's a good time to wrap up. We've gone slightly over on this podcast. But we are essentially just... We have to take a break from podcasts soon. We'll
Yeah.
try and get a couple
For
more
season
out.
2.
Yeah, we'll try and
Well-
get a couple more out. And then we have to take a break because we don't have access to the studio for a few weeks. There'll still be content at
Yeah.
the time. We'll still upload stuff. It's just... We'll try and get, maybe 2 or 3 more podcasts out after this one.
I hope so.
And then we will start doing some new type of content before returning to the studio to start again with the podcast. So the podcasts are coming back. We just have to take a couple of weeks off break. But yeah, so thank you for watching. If you haven't seen the show yet, Chernobyl, definitely watch it because it is really good.
That's it.
Yeah, literally,
the slowest person
just
wrapping up this, Josh.
just watch it. So yeah, thank you for
Done.
watching. Like, subscribe, everything like that.
I already know.
Yeah, you already know. See you in the next one.